Microphone working? Yeah, my microphone's working. So as predicted, not very long ago, I said that there would be massive layoffs occurring with Facebook and now with Microsoft, Walmart, and others. We already know that Twitter did massive layoffs. Is your job, your career, or your company at risk next? What is at risk for elimination? I predicted in the past during the blood full moon just over a week ago, and for the entire month of November, that this month would be an accident prone type of month. And this would in turn bring about several plane crashes, along with train incidents and anything related to trains, planes, trains, and automobiles. So we already had 2 planes that collided and crashed, and 1 derailment of a train so far. What would be next? Is there going to be more? I'm going to talk about all that today. I warned you all to stay away from those cryptocurrencies and that Bitcoin. I warned that a company would end up going belly up, taking millions from people, innocent, hardworking people. Well, this is exactly what happened and what Sam Bankman-Fried did to the holders of FXT, while he continued sending millions to a political party. I'll let you guess who that political party may have been. So are others going to lose money from cryptocurrencies? Well, they sure are, and I'm going to cover that today. I said that Florida would be hit again by another hurricane or system. Sadly, Nicole hit harder than expected to the folks in Florida. Weather systems are completely out of whack, and huge weather events are coming our way. As predicted, the earthquake that hit the Tonga, and that's just one of many yet to come. Are you safe where you are? Will there be another earthquake in the near future? Where will storms hit? We're going to cover all that on this episode number 41 of Tuesday's Tittle Tea Time. And this is my tea, and I am Tittle, and it wouldn't be Tittle Tea Time without some tea, right? Welcome to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Joseph Tittle, aka Spearman JT. Be sure to hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already, followed by the bell and all, so that you hopefully get the notifications. Clicking that like button somewhere along the line also assists in making sure you get notifications or these videos show up on your feed. I thank all of you for being here today. This is Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. And thank you for subscribing, being a part of the tribe. Subscribe. So we just hit the halfway point between that blood full moon and the new moon that's coming up on Wednesday, November 23rd. We already know how powerful and significant that blood moon was and is, and the tsunami wave of energies that were accompanied with it. Again, this still has our emotions all over the place and continues to bring up past events, emotions from the past, and past traumas as well. This is all so that we can utilize the remainder of this waning moon cycle to assist us in clearing things that no longer serve our highest potential. So hang in there, my beautiful friends. I know it's been a rough roller coaster ride, but because we're only halfway through it right now. So you're only halfway through that little roller coaster ride until the new moon comes up on the 23rd. The coming new moon on the 23rd is going to be accompanied by new energies, as these moon cycles always are. But these new energies can assist us and will assist us in rebirth and transformation. Excuse me, both on a personal level and, of course, a universal level. As humanity shifts, so shall our Mother Earth in every aspect we could possibly think of. If humans are living different lives altogether in the not far off future, then we shall be living on a planet that is also altogether different. The shifting of the Earth's plates has only just begun, not too far off in the past. Therefore, there is so much more to come, especially those things that align with prophecies and so much more. And I didn't put this on Do Not Disturb. Now I did. There we go. So there's a reason the elite are building underground hideaways, along with our governments who built underground cities. They know way more than they are ever going to tell us. And I want to tell you that everything they blame it on, especially humanity and the natural resources, is all 100% a lie. You knew that already, right? You're intuitive. You don't even need to be intuitive. You just plainly see in our faces. The Hopi and the Lakota ancestors were not the only ones, but perhaps maybe the first ones to warn us of a great shifting of Mother Earth and a great awakening. And the poles shifting as well. And that prophecy is now clearly coming into fruition. And those prophecies go back hundreds, some of them thousands of years. There is so much more truth of why this is actually occurring, and the fact that this pattern that occurs on Mother Earth does happen every so many thousand years. History alone proves this. If we look at the history and the scientific evidence, we will see this rebirth and transformation happening on our planet currently, and not all of it appears to be very positive, does it? Well, we always must rely on the ancient prophecies. Remember that. And they discuss the future when all of humanity comes together in pure love, rebuilding our planet in a community-based system, the way it was ancient times, and the way it's going to be in the future and needs to be. We don't need to look very hard or very far to see how deeply they are pushing this agenda of the changing and shifting of our planet and our climates, and throwing it right in our faces, especially the past year, if you haven't noticed. Something that activists tried to do something about decades ago, but the elite and nobody seemed to care. Instead, they built their underground homes for something that they knew was going to come into fruition in the future. Not far off in that future either. Now the evildoers have taken our climate and ran in their own direction, that is to benefit a very few elite, not all the elite, but very few handful of elite, while the rest of the world suffers with the dark forces and their sick plans for humanity. But the light will prevail in the end. Often it is hard to believe, I know, that humans are the people and the ones responsible for pushing these evil agendas, coming out of their own playbook and their own plan book, just like the plan book Agenda 2025. If you haven't seen that, check that out. It's pretty creepy. These are examples of their playbooks. And you would wonder, is it really humans worshiping evil forces, as many believe, that are pushing these sick agendas? Or could it perhaps be an alien race that wants to take over our planet? And in order to do so, they would have to wipe out most, if not all, humans. These are just some of the subjects we're going to explore today, along with lots of new predictions. I got a packed full show for you today. Today's topics are going to include, of course, aliens and UFOs, like my little ET back here, if you can see him, earthquakes, the job market, social media collapse, shortages, and so much more. And again, I welcome you if you just tuned in to my channel. Welcome back to my channel. Don't forget to be a part of that tribe. You got to hit that subscribe, the bell, and all. And know that I am here absolutely every Tuesday. This is 41 weeks in a row today. So with that all said, also down below the video, you'll find the link and some little pictures of some of the new products that are being put out by the channel that help support this channel and the content that I put out to you, including my new line of Mean People Suck shirts and, be kind to others. And there's many different ones. So check them out. And there's a few more yet to come. So hold on tight. And down below, you'll find the link to my newsletter. You're going to want to sign up to that newsletter. It's free. If it's free, it's for me, right? So when you do, make sure that you confirm your subscription and add that email to your email list so that it doesn't end up in your spam folder. I will have a new newsletter out in the next couple days with special offers and all kinds of things, and you got to just check it out. But also, you'll know where I'm at and also get special discount offers on the merchandise down below. So with that said, let's talk about UFOs, aliens like little ET over here, and the FBI. Because this is a good one, my friends. This is a juicy one, which many of you probably heard, but maybe not. Did you hear about the FBI that conducted a huge raid on the Georgia News Dreamland Resort website? Dreamlandresort.com. The owner of that website is Georgia New, I believe is his name. I know it's George something, sounds like that. But suddenly, if you notice, the government is making a strong attempt to pass a message, especially with this website, dreamlandresort.com. What is that message? They worked so hard for decades keeping that truth from us about UFOs and aliens and alien contact and so forth. But why? Why did they block that for so much in the true existence of it? We already know about the deals that were made between the US government, President Eisenhower, and the aliens. That's all been recorded on record. Since then, our technology has advanced at a speed of light. People could not imagine the technology that they have already that they don't share with us. They're 1,000 years more advanced than we are. That's why I said in last week's show, they have the equipment to cause quakes on the planet. Even Russia came out. I told you about that video too, talking about it in 2011, basically taking responsibility for the Japan earthquake. So they worked really hard for decades keeping this truth from us. And again, with Eisenhower and his agreement with the aliens, supposedly or allegedly the Greys. But suddenly they seem to be sending this message to anyone that's sharing credible information about Area 51, other secret bases, and DUMBs. DUMBs are deep underground military base systems. And I mentioned that in the beginning of the show today. They're underground big cities that they have, like the one in the Ozark Mountains, where there's one zip code in the Ozark Mountains here in the United States that is all retired generals and captains of the military. High-ranking military people, the whole zip code is them. That's because that's where they are, right near those tunnels. The same tunnels that Jesse Ventura drove right into 22 miles deep. But anyway, why are they so much on suppressing suddenly or bringing a message about to others, warning them not to post anything about 51, the DUMBs, the aliens, and so forth? This is what I said before. Thank you, Liz. Thank you with infinite love and gratitude for your chat cash. So if you remember back, I don't know how long ago, I talked about another big censorship thing that was coming. And I don't believe that's come quite yet, knock on wood. But this could have a big part to do with that prediction coming into fruition. And that website's still up. I don't believe all the pictures that were on there are on there anymore. The person isn't making much of a statement. And why are they suddenly trying to scare people into not going down their little secret rabbit hole? Why is that? If you recall my discussions that I had in the past about the Illuminati cards, which I have a deck there in the other room, that show the Twin Towers on fire that were put out in 1992 and 93. Those Illuminati cards, when they first came out, the game company that put them out, the guy that created them, was also raided by the FBI. What's that tell you? And those cards are creepy. I will eventually do a video on them. I'm still trying to acquire a few other cards, but I'll discuss more of that in a future video. Spirit shows me and tells me that we're going to see an influx of FBI, CIA raids on innocent Americans. So, and we're starting to say it, but Spirit said there would be an influx of this. Not just Americans either. They're going to go after y'all, Canadians, Europeans, and anyone that they feel threatened by. Even though humanity is the ones who should feel threatened. We should be the ones that feel threatened. But they feel threatened because they don't want that information out. And it's just bizarre because look at how many people are awakened over the past 3 years, 2 years. More people are aware. People know. I mean, like, you can't even really suppress it much more. The more you suppress it, the more people awaken to the truth. So, that's probably part of the whole system that our divine creator, put into tact, making sure that they try to suppress it, but it just brings it out even more and more. We are in the time of the Great Awakening, as we know. And the 2020s is all about 2020 vision and us being able to see through things that we weren't able to see before. So, total brain freeze. So if our governments have some type of agreement with the aliens, as some allege, and they are not filling us in on these details, perhaps they're forbidden to do so. Have you ever thought of that? Think about it. They have highly advanced technology if they're here and live amongst us, which we know they do. There's way too much evidence to say otherwise. Even going back before the military reverse engineered those UFOs and actually captured, I think, 12 of their own over the decades. So maybe they can't disclose the information. Maybe they're the ones in fear because they're, whoever aliens they made a pact with are more powerful, could take you out. But I always said if they wanted to take us out, they would have done it a long time ago. Why would they make it slow? They could take us out like that if they wanted to. But that's where the higher good forces are. The good forces are here as well. And Spirit showed me back in Peru when I worked with the ayahuasca and the shamans. And I went on this whole journey about truth and reptilians, all kinds of wild stuff. And Spirit said not to judge, that they're just like humans. Some of them are good, some of them are bad. It just happens that the bad ones are the ones that are in the higher power, but they're not going to be for long. Have you ever heard of the guy Phil Schneider? He's deceased now. But according to Phil Schneider and his whole story about the underground Dolce base, if you haven't ever heard about that. Now, when you really look deeply into Phil's story, there are some holes in his story, without a doubt. And some of it sounds too bizarre to believe, but sometimes the more bizarre it is, the more truth there is behind it, right? So we don't consider that. But one of the things, I watched the Phil video recently, and Phil's been dead for a long time now, I believe decades. He died only months after he came out as a whistleblower. Found dead in his house with, I think, tubes wrapped around his throat, saying that it was suicide and all this. There's a hole in that story as well. But the one thing that got to me that he said that would kind of vibrate along with my predictions and what I thought, sort of. And what he said is that the aliens want to kill us off by 2029, which is really, really interesting. 2029. Let me turn this off. Hold on. Sorry about that. Ding dong. Somebody just rang the doorbell. Somebody's knocking on the door. Someone's ringing a bell. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, so Phil says 2029. Now, that's another video. That's actually probably the next one in line. I will release a video that I'm editing right now showing you how to clear negative energies, program crystals and such. But after that, I think I'm going to focus really on the video I've been wanting to do for a while. It's going to take a while to do about the year 2029. And when I heard him say 2029, it's just like, whoa, I got like step back, take a breath. So something to look forward. Again, all the more reason to subscribe down below. But he blew the whistle and then he was gone. 2029. No, I thought that was really interesting that he said that. Really, really interesting, because that's when the comet Apophis comes close to the Earth and nips by the Earth on Friday, April 13th, 2029. Kind of creepy. Speaking of creepy, let's talk about the weekend coming up here in America, United States. Not this weekend, but the following weekend, Thanksgiving week. And the Thanksgiving weekend both strongly came to my mind today. Spirit showed me the calendar. Like, I had a vision of the calendar, but I saw 3. I couldn't tell if it was 3 because it was so fast. 3 or 4 days, definitely 3, but potentially 4, that were blotted in red, like big red blots, almost like a bingo blotter. If you ever played bingo, I love some bingo. A bingo blotter in red. They were blotted, and it was blood red. Very, very, very deep blood red. Especially, so I saw that for 3 days, maybe 4, but especially Friday the 25th of November through Sunday the 27th of November. I'm not clear how exactly to interpret this other than what Spirit showed me and having kind of a sick feeling about it. So I will take this red as being maybe a representative of the color blood, maybe representing bloodshed, that is a 3-day thing of some sort. That's the first thing I could try to interpret. See, this is the hard thing, is sometimes challenging, not hard, but challenging to interpret certain things that spirits show me when I only get a little bit of information. That's why I like to do this every week with y'all, because I get more information as time progresses, or we come closer to points where predictions are going to come into fruition. So I'm not sure if it's representing a lot of bloodshed for that weekend, or perhaps maybe Spirit was telling me to tell you and all of us to stay home that weekend, starting on the American Thanksgiving on the 24th. I'd be home. I'm always home anyway. I live in paradise. Why would I want to be anywhere else? But I'll be home cooking some Thanksgiving dinner. Speaking of moving on, remember I did say that Spirit showed me. Well, if you remember, actually, it's been about a month ago. I said that I had a vision of a pile up of cars, over 100 cars piled up, and a few weeks ago that actually did occur. Maybe within a week after I said it. But if you remember, I also mentioned that Spirit showed me that November's energy brings in an energy of being accident prone or prone to injuries. Hopefully, the new moon will help to ease us out of that accident prone cycle. But being that we are only halfway through November, we can only be guaranteed to still witness events that include trains, planes, and automobiles. Spirit shows me and reminds me that this will also affect construction sites, and accidents at sites can lead likely to deaths or casualties. This would include at least one large crane accident, a crane that collapses and crashes to the streets below. This looks to me in the visions like it was a city, for example, like New York City. It might even be New York City. I wasn't clear as to where it was, but it looked like a big city. It could even be Philadelphia. I see several incidents occurring around several different construction sites, including the collapsing of several structures. For example, a building under construction collapsing. And I said that before and it happened, but it's coming up again. So Spirit shows me high winds that pick up out of nowhere, perhaps as soon as this coming weekend. These high winds will likely have to do with this crane incident, which Spirit showed me that these high winds would be partially responsible for several of these events. So our friends out there or who work in construction, or the gals who have men that work in construction, tell them to be extra safe and cautious. And if high winds pick up out of nowhere, move out of the way of flying or falling debris. So hopefully maybe we could prevent something just by putting that out there today. That's always a good goal, right? We are likely going to see several more plane incidents as well, including the crash landing of a passenger plane in Europe. I would not be surprised at all to see a passenger and a cargo plane taken down intentionally, if you know what I mean. And you know where I'd be talking about with that as well. It kind of makes me have deja vu, like I'm thinking of a prediction that I probably said something about before in the past. So if I'm getting more information, and I said this months ago, well, now we're in that accident-prone month, and that's coming to me. So chances are we're falling close to that coming into fruition, some of those past predictions. Spirit says that there will be more flags that fly ever so falsely, if you know what I mean, when it comes to shipping routes that are suddenly blocked. At least that is the story that they will feed the masses. I see both a major railroad line that ships goods being blocked from shipping goods. Two of these, so more than one, two of these will be in Europe, of course, with even a potential of 3 altogether. One of these routes is connected to Germany, another to the UK. The United States, Canada, and even Australia will endure issues with goods not getting through. And trains coming to a halt. So, we know about the whole fight against our food and burning down of factories and things. Now it seems to be moving into the refineries, as again predicted. But now is this their new way of attacking our food because people are still eating to cut off trade routes? That's what it looks like to me. Dry up the waters so the boats don't get through purposely. Remember I told you about them draining water and storing it in an underground thing? Not that it's related, but remember that? That just popped into my brain. Because they have methods. So drill underneath, poke a hole, drain it out, make it look like it's natural when it's not. Anything to fulfill their agenda, and their agenda is not for the good. That's for sure. That's why we have to come together and fight. But somehow goods will be blocked in a ship cargo and shipping cargo, as well. So I feel China may have something to do with that, and more likely Russia may be in on it as well. So something with cargo ships. Something I didn't get clarity on it, so I don't know if that's a little further off, and I'll get more information as time progresses over the next couple of weeks. But that's what Spirit showed me. India came to my mind several times today, actually. And as I tapped into the planes, trains, and automobiles, I saw major issues with goods coming across the borders for India. I also see India on the edge of war. A lot of tension there. I feel like I may have said that not that long ago, but it came up again today. I'm not the part about the edge of war. The part about borders and the food coming across, that's new to me, and it's probably related to some of what I just said previously. I see one building collapse that feels like a secret terror attack of sorts. Likely this will be in Europe. Which takes me to my next subject. Mass protests. It was a few years ago, if y'all remember, in my annual New Year's Day world prediction, because many of you might not remember because you might not have been around subscribing, but I only basically really didn't put out much. It was always about my one New Year's Day world annual predictions. But now the show, I put them out, weekly, which seems to be more fun actually, and helps get more accurate information when we're on top of it. But it was a few years ago that I predicted a rise up of humanity, a great awakening, and mass protests happening globally. Well, and I said that probably maybe even as far back as 2017, 2018 that I said that. Well, mass media is not reporting the mass protests that are happening right now in Mexico and other places. We are all aware of what's happening in Iran because, of course, they want you to be aware of that. They want you to see that crumble happening for whatever reason in their agendas, basically, whatever that agenda may be around that. Look, if they've been trying to start war with Iran for a long time, as long as I can remember anyway. But we see those protests happening, but we're not seeing the other ones. They fail to report the other protests that are happening globally, which takes me to Mexico for a minute. I thought this was really, really interesting, actually. The Mexico president slams mass protests against electoral forum. Sounds familiar. And I say controversy, not just in the United States over polls and stuff, but also globally. The Mexican president criticized a mass protest against his proposed electoral reforms as an attempt by his opponents to return to corrupt old ways. Typical, right? I don't see that return happening, is what I just got from Spirit. In southern China, they are experiencing mass protests as well, and riots, flipping over of police cars, and ripping down 2020 bug block barricades, because they still have bug barricades, double B, for the 2020 bug. So they were ripping them down and all in southern China, those people, that's brave in China because, they'll just, bring everybody together and shoot you or torture you, sadly. But that's what's happening with protests. This is going to break out. I didn't add to this. I should have added to it, but I probably got more information and went on to something else and forgot to go back to that. So that's going to happen everywhere. Especially 2023, folks. Get ready to see something you haven't seen before. There will be parades of people in the streets globally. That's all the more reason to also make sure that you subscribe. And remember, you catch me every New Year's Day for my annual New Year's Day World Predictions. I think we're on number 16 or 17 years now, but don't forget about that. And you can join the Subscribe Star Awaken Your Spirit community and have exclusive access to the Zoom meeting where we will celebrate New Year's Day together. Layoffs. And I saw massive, and I think I only just said it a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, that I saw that happening because we knew Twitter was doing layoffs. But I said I see that happening with Facebook, eventually Google, which Google, as to my knowledge right now, has not did major layoffs. It wasn't that long ago that I said major companies and big tech companies would be cleaning house and laying off thousands of people. And again, Elon Musk seems to have ignited some type of layoff frenzy with Twitter. Big companies, huge and big tech companies like Microsoft, Walmart, and Facebook. This also includes shutdowns of different places. I predicted too in the past that there'd be shutdowns of stores connected to Walmart and grocery stores. That wasn't that too long ago that I said that too. Well, that's happening because now companies like ShopRite, Kruger's, Walmart, Whole Foods are all closing down stores and laying off workers as well. So this is all coming into fruition, and this is what happens too. I noticed some of the predictions I make come true faster, some of them, but this layoff thing is just starting. Spirit's telling me now that we can see that for Google, Apple products, and others, along with big walkouts that occur in companies like Apple overseas. So, and maybe even Google, but there's going to be huge walkouts by workers and basically striking. And I said about strikes before, and we haven't seen much of that yet. I mean, we still some, but not much. But this is coming where people are going to start walking out in a protest, especially a big company, again, like Google or Apple or Samsung, having a big company protest strike, people walking out. Not all of them, because, there's always those ones that will stay in fear and not leave. Oh no, we can't leave. We can't do this. So the only way to have change is when you stand together. Come together, stand together, fight together. That's how we make change happen. We insist we make it happen. So that's all the shutdowns. So much more to come to. But grocery stores like ShopRite and Whole Foods shutting down, folks, especially in small cities. Here's part of their agenda. This is why they push people into the big cities. Because if you look at rural America, it's rural again. So many boarded up little towns, they don't exist. Mom and pop stores don't exist. They put them all out. They did that purposely decades ago to push people out of the rural areas and closer to the cities, making you think that it's better to be by the city because there's more work opportunities. See, it's easier to control and eliminate large masses of people when they're all in the same place. So that's been an agenda of theirs for a while, a long time. And I say do the opposite, move out of your cities and move rurally, which is exactly what people are starting to do now. People are catching on. The cities are getting really bad. That's what happens when you push everybody and suppress people and take away their opportunities, their jobs, their money, all that. And then they go towards the cities to try, and then it just turns into crime and all kinds of other stuff. Social media. And this is another one I said a long time, years ago, that Facebook would be replaced by something else eventually. And I don't think that's the metaverse. I mean, it could be, but I thought when I said that probably 5 years ago, I was thinking like something completely replacing Facebook completely, which metaverse would, but it's collapsing. And I said that Facebook and other social media platforms are going to collapse. Media giants like and especially Facebook. We know and see that Facebook and Twitter are laying off thousands of workers. This right here is a clear sign that my prediction from years past is likely beginning to occur now. As other social media platforms like Social Truth, turn that around, dyslexia, Social Truth is growing. Is that going to be something that replaces it? I still think there's something yet to come, or maybe it's here and it just hasn't been launched yet, or in a way that we see it. There's something yet that's going to take over. But I do not see or feel when it comes to Facebook, they made way too many decisions, as we know, with their metaverse and taking all their money and putting it there. And I do not see or feel that they are going to rebound from that anytime soon. Remember, Facebook's stocks plummeted, as I told you they would. So people, hopefully they got out of that. I haven't looked at I should have looked at their stock today to give you some more incline on that, some more information. I didn't think of that, but I have more information with other stuff in the economy in a moment. So even though Facebook is another thing people don't realize, that Facebook's basically a secret government face recognition data bank, except now the government doesn't need their data bank. They already backed it up and took all the information they need for now. Now there's other platforms they can utilize too, and they have a better form, according to Spirit today, they have much better forms of tracking everything and everyone, especially through your newer cell phone models, according to Spirit. So that's why they don't care. Elite, the globalists, whatever you want to call them, they don't care about Facebook now. They did because they needed all that information so that they could gather that data bank about us. But now they don't need it because they downloaded that data bank. They don't need it now. They track everything through your phones, especially if you have a newer phone since the year 2020, according to Spirit. So therefore, they really don't give a what about Zuckerberg. They don't care. Or care about his crappy platform anymore, or whether it crashes. But don't underestimate the smarts of that, even though that idea was apparently stolen from someone else, which is also really wrong. But Spirit shows me that there has and will be short-term investment opportunities with Facebook stock. It will drop again significantly, but it will recover for a short term in mid to late 2023. So actually, I did get information on that. Forgot all about that. I worked really hard today. I can't remember everything I channeled through. So again, I'll throw that by you again. Facebook opportunities. That their stocks will drop again significantly, but recover for short term in mid to late 2023. So that's yet to come. Twitter and Facebook are both heading towards a collapse. Was this all part of their evil agenda to build it and then collapse it? I wouldn't doubt it. They built the monetary system. Now they want to collapse it. I think it's all part of their sicko plan. Speaking of all those things, let's talk about the economy for a minute. I warned you all to stay away from cryptocurrencies. Thank you, Patty M, for your chat cash, and anybody else if I missed it, because I didn't see anybody else, but if somebody else did, thank you for that. I couldn't provide and work all day on this without your love and support, which is so greatly appreciated. So I warned you that a company would go belly up, taking millions from people. This is exactly what happened with Sam Bankman-Fried, who he took all the holders of the FXT crypto and basically took all their money. And at the same time, if you look up the records, besides George Soros, he is the #1 supporter of one particular political party. Yeah, him and George Soros, #1. So, and he seems to be getting away with it right now, doesn't he? I mean, I haven't really tuned totally into the story. I just know it seems like he's getting away with it. Wonder why? Maybe because of who he supported and sent all that money to and pocketed all that other money, millions to political party. You can guess which one, of course. Are there more people that are going to lose cryptocurrencies? Of course there is. Sam Fried is just one of many to come. And ones that will get away with it too, like he has so far. While there will be another one that will be locked up and they'll throw away the key. Spirit makes me feel that there will be several intentionally taken down with more people's hard-earned cash, of course. One is going to be paid off by the evildoers to collapse their own cryptocurrency. So I just assumption here that that somehow they can't crash it the way they want to, so they're going to literally pay the crypto person to crash their own system. I don't know what that is, but we'll soon see. The big bully bankers plan to collapse as many and as much as they possibly can before instilling their new global blockchain currency. So, very dangerous. I warned you all to get out of Bitcoin over a year ago. Early last year, I told you to get out of Bitcoin. And another huge drop I told you was coming with Bitcoin. Bitcoin in November 5th was at $22,225. And on the 9th, it dropped all the way down to 16K. It dropped. I said it was going to. In August, it was up over 24K. A year ago, when I first warned you to get out of Bitcoin, and people told me I was crazy to make such a prediction. I got all kinds of emails on that one. You're crazy. You don't know what you're talking about. Blah, blah, blah. It's a prediction. So I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to crypto. I know nothing about crypto at all, actually, quite honestly. But it was a prediction that came through. That's the difference. So I'll agree when they email me their troll emails. You don't know what you're talking about. Well, when it comes to crypto, you're right. I don't. But this is a prediction. So that happened to come into fruition, by the way. But Bitcoin... So I warned you that it was going to drop again. Bitcoin would hold strong at $67,000 as where it was just over a year ago, this time last year, actually. That prediction proved to be correct when I said people were going to lose major money with Bitcoin. I said that a year ago, over a year ago. And again, let's look at the currency last year, 67K. And look at where it's at now. Dropped down. On the 5th, it was 22K. And on the 9th, it dropped down below 16K. That's more than half, my friends. It's like half, right? Did I add right in my brain? Close to half. But yeah, actually more than half. What am I saying? So that prediction proved to be correct, with 2023 bringing in the largest drop in some time. So hear me out. I see a nice little rise coming in December for Bitcoin, but Spirit says now may be the last time to make good returns from Bitcoin. But one must get out by right after, like say sometime in January. So if it rises up, apparently, or it's down low now, if you were to get it, say now, it's going to go up again where you can make a good profit, but you have to get out sometime in January is what I was feeling. And I'm sure I'll get more information before we get to January or in my January New Year's Day predictions. It will rise up just under 40K. It's, in time, Bitcoin will rise up to just under 40K. But when it does, it will be short-lived. And I do not feel like Bitcoin is going anywhere, but there will be some type of change with their currency in the future. So you're going to do, I don't know what again, I don't know nothing about cryptocurrencies, but apparently Spirit said it's going to be different, something different about it. Yeah, it's probably going to be the blockchain they use for the global currency. Part of that, probably no doubt, actually, after they make all the Bitcoin people go broke, and then they'll make it big again. It's kind of what they do. But in a few years, I can still see it rise eventually to over $100,000. So that would also be short-lived too, said Spirit. So something to keep an eye on. People ask me about cryptos and all, and Spirit gave me that information today. So take it strongly. 2023 is a year where we are going to begin to see a total collapse of the evildoers initiating their world order. Spirit says that they are sadly going to succeed. So again, 2023 is where we're going to really begin to see this total collapse that these evildoers have been planning for quite some time. We see it now, but Spirit said 2023, you're going to really see it. And they're going to succeed, but it will not hold strong for too long. That's also in the prophecies where they say they'll succeed. And then eventually, you know the whole story, but that's in the prophecies. Spirit says that when we see it being ignited outside of China, the new currency that is, their new world order, Spirit says when we see that being initiated outside of China, so it's already happening in China. They have the global credit score. I mean, not your credit score, your social credit score, and all the other sick stuff they did with their money and currencies over there. Spirit says eventually that's going to change. They haven't completely initiated everything in China that they want to with their enslavement, but soon they will. And then once we see it spreading out around China into different countries, that's when we need to be aware, because outside of China, and that's when the rest of the world needs to get up and resist, according to Spirit. work together in community and help each other to stay strong and resist this agenda of theirs. Protest and simply say no. Basically, we need to just say no to it. Sadly, Spirit says too many people are afraid and looking for, also, there's many looking for free handouts from the governments. Remember, Spirit always warned us that it would all collapse in Europe first, then Japan, then United States. But Spirit, the way Spirit said that there's too many that are afraid and others that are waiting for their free handout from the government. And we talked about that, where I told you that that's what they're going to try to do. Put everybody on a specific wages. Make you enslaved to your house and give everybody a certain wage depending on whatever level you are. And people are going to want that. People are going to do that. And it's not good. But Spirit shows me that they meaning the evildoers and the big bankers, have been screwing with silver and gold prices for decades, while they hoard and pile up on all their own silver and gold and precious metal supply. Which brings me to, excuse me, break. Oh, shoot, I'm almost out of tea. That's a tragedy. That's very tragic. What was I saying? Oh, 9/11 and the attacks on the Twin Towers. All the gold underneath the towers that suddenly disappeared. Trucks that were seen parked under there beforehand. Come on, they've been doing this in Stockholm. Look at the gold at Fort Knox. Where's it at? It ain't there. It hasn't been there for decades. So they've been piling up and hoarding this stuff for their own supplies. And Spirit told me that in the past, but I'll say it again, that the only system that's going to work as a global currency for the planet is a natural system. And a natural system would be something like gold and silver coins, like it was once upon a time before the kings and queens of the evil came in and started changing everything and printing their own fake money. So the way it was meant to be is what Spirit showed me, was with natural resources. And that just brought another memory to me that I said a while back, that we would end up going back to the trade and barter system, which is silver and gold was just a little extra bonus for trade and all, which grew and became bigger in time until they started to put in their fake paper money. I said in the past from Spirit that the only system, again, that's going to work is going to be a natural system with silver and gold coin, the way it's meant to be, and the elite plan to become gazillionaires when they flick that great reset button, because they've been stashed up on this stuff for a long time. So they mess with the gold and silver prices. They have the ability to do that. They keep it low on purpose. Why they stock up. And then they'll skyrocket it and become gazillionaires. That's what Spirit said, gazillion. Spirit said that. I thought it was funny, gazillionaire. I never heard that one before. But yep, that's going to be them. So I've been telling you for years that silver is really the place to invest and will bring a much greater return if you remain patient and hold on to it for a little bit of a long term. How long, I'm not clear, but I do not feel it's going to be that far off. Silver will soon see a rise of over $30 an ounce, and it's about $22 an ounce right now. A rise to up to $30 an ounce. So that's why you want to get it before it goes up that high. And eventually will rise to several $100s. While I don't know when again, but that's what Spirit said. Eventually it will. And I would say less than a decade, but more likely just within maybe the next 5 years. Gold will also rise as well. But again, silver will have the best return. I can see gold topping the $2,000 per ounce mark and reaching as much as $3,000 in just a few years. And by that time, that's when silver should be at least at $150 an ounce. Also says, Spirit also says they will keep screwing with the pricing of precious metals until a large percentage of humanity is in suffering, so that they may profit even more, make them the gazillionaire. I am thinking this is going to be likely maybe 2025, 2026. And remember when my tribulation video I did, go back and look at it on my channel, 2025 to 2032. I truly believe that is the 7 years of tribulation. Speaking of tribulation, my dog's choking over there. You all right, princess? Weather. Let's talk about the weather. I got a lot of weather stuff here today. The governments are now setting up what they call warm spots in places such as libraries and museums. Remember back in January, Spirit showed us and warned us that more people would freeze to death in the next coming winter, which is this winter coming up now. But also more people would freeze to death in record-breaking amounts in 2023 than ever previously reported. Sadly, it feels like they are purposely orchestrating this plan to target specifically the elderly and the homeless. Homelessness is already on the rise, with numbers never before imagined that are yet to come. So cold, damp houses, remember, and a lot of people are going to have very cold houses this winter. And cold isn't good, especially cold, damp. And it's going to be a very wet winter in most places in the globe. Again, this is something orchestrated. I probably said it every week for the past month with their weather modification systems, which they have patents on. So people will say that's conspiracy. They have patents on it. What are you talking about? Like, hello, wake up, take your blindfold off. I got my silver tinfoil hat on, but you need to take your blindfold off. Anyway, cold, damp houses are perfect breeding grounds for mold, and eventually they can make houses completely unlivable, especially even motorhomes, even worse. So sadly, 2023 is going to bring about new disease outbreaks. So I don't have anything other than that right now, but be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, the bell and all, and tune in to my annual New Year's Day world predictions on January 1st, 2023. So in Europe, did you know that power companies are now going bankrupt? That's right, power companies are going bankrupt. Why are they going bankrupt? Because people can't afford to pay their electric bills. So therefore, they're claiming that's their claim anyway. I don't know how true it really is. People, if you don't pay your electric bill, they shut it off. We don't hear reports of thousands of people with no power because it was shut off because not paying their bill. But this is what they're claiming. Power companies are going bankrupt because people won't pay their bill. Well, if that's not true, it probably will become true really, really soon. I also see an immigrant crisis that kills, sadly, dozens, perhaps hundreds, from being out in the cold this winter. One of the worst winter storms on record is going to hit parts of Europe, where more, sadly, innocent, suffering people will not be able to survive the storm in the cold. This may be a record-breaking amount of deaths that come from a winter storm. The Tonga. Let's do the Tonga, baby. The Tonga just endured an earthquake right around the area where I pointed not that long ago, which sent out tsunami warnings. I believe I said that there would be 2 false tsunami warnings and then the next would be real. And I could have sworn that Spirit said the next one was going to be real coming up soon. So perhaps I was wrong, or perhaps I got off on my numbers. My numbers are all screwed up, but I don't know if it's off my prediction or perhaps the next one will actually be an actual tsunami that will occur not too far off in the future anyway. But more activity should be expected at the Tonga and also beneath the sea surrounding the Tonga, heading upwards towards Fiji and the Fiji Islands. I see a vision of an evacuation taking place on one island, perhaps connected potentially to the Fiji Islands. I certainly would not want to live in an area of the globe right now with things that are happening globally with the weather patterns in the oceans and the seas, because with the increase of Earth activities, I just personally, I wouldn't want to live. I would always wanted to live on an island, but I wouldn't live on an island even if I could right now. I doubt it. I mean, unless spirits told me I had to or needed to, and then I would. But how about the damage brought on by Nicole in Florida and to the poor residents of Florida? The erosion of the beaches and such. I said there would be more to come, and came Nicole. I also said that the season would be off season, if you remember, and I thought pretty sure the season ended back in September. And look at them getting something in November. That's unheard of. So Spirit said that this hurricane season is nothing compared to what's to come in the future, not just in 2023, but wait until we get to the 2025 shift. That's what Spirit said to me today. So hurricane season is nothing this year compared to what it's going to be next year and years to come, especially during the 2025 shift. I don't even know what that means yet. I know that's a 9-year numerology, 2025, which is all about endings, death of cycles, clearing, letting go of, and all that. And it is in my tribulation video and predictions. I said probably a long time ago, actually, maybe even 10 years ago, I said that time period, 2025 to 2032. But yeah, actually, it was back in 2012, I might have said that. So Indonesia has been coming to my mind all week. I don't know why. It was just bizarre. Well, I mean, I do know why, but I don't know why. Not just Indonesia, but the surrounding areas of Indonesia. This has to be related to massive shifts in the plates that I discussed time and time again. Spirit pulls me to the map today, and between both Indonesia, Papua New Guinea, which puts us in the Balda Sea, and the Philippines also jumped out at me. If we were to draw a line from Indonesia, West Papua New Guinea, and the Philippines, it almost gives us a perfect triangle. Spirit shows me, especially the West Papua New Guinea, Indonesia, and the Philippines. It's like a big triangle. And Spirit showed me that great movement of the Earth plates in between that area. Some of this movement will occur soon after several solar flares rain down upon the Earth. Something to look for. We know how that affects it. I mean, all the time. But Spirit gave us that warning today. When several solar flares rain down on the Earth, they don't have to even be that necessarily that big. That's when there's going to be big movement in the plates, in the Earth's plates, especially in that area I just said. This is going to trigger several large volcanic eruptions. One volcanic eruption that is already seeping out lava will suddenly spew lava and steam and debris more than a mile high or many miles high into the sky. That was interesting vision to see, because it's just, you're looking at a volcano dripping, a little bit of smoke, and all of a sudden goes poof. It's pretty interesting, which will probably affect travel and all that. I'm thinking that this is something that's on our doorstep because I had that vision before in the past. But also January is going to be intense, my friends. The end of December into January. January is the first energy shift of 2023. Happens in January, right at the full moon in January. So that's a time to really look out for. I see more movement in the plates when we get to the area of the Southern Caribbean islands. This will bring quake activity to areas like Puerto Rico, Cuba, and Guatemala. More earthquake activity between Haiti and Jamaica that can have even a harder impact on the Cayman Islands. Remember my past predictions and visions of islands sinking into the waters? I think that this is somehow, one of these is somehow related to also a volcano. When a volcano collapses, it will send a wall of water over the islands. So again, let me go over that with you again. In my past predictions, I had a vision of seeing several islands sinking into the sea. Spirit showed me one of these islands today is somehow related to a volcano. I don't know which volcano, but we saw that with, I forget what volcano it was, Hawaii years ago, where the whole side of the volcano collapsed in. And just the other one that everybody's worried about that I'm drawing a blank on, but kind of like those. And Spirit showed me that there will be one volcano that collapses in on itself and will send a wall of water over islands. That could be where my island sink come in. I don't know where this is. Maybe Fiji Islands. That just popped in my brain again, and I just said it a few minutes ago. I'm not sure. But again, all the more reason to subscribe. I'll get more information as time goes on. I see plate movements also occurring around and through Africa and part of the Southern Atlantic Ocean. Movement between the Southern Atlantic Ocean will likely unleash tsunami warnings, while at the same time a nearby volcano becomes active once again. And I've said that in the past about dormant volcanoes becoming active again. Not that it's the same, but that popped in my mind. Cape Town, Africa also jumped out at me today. Cape Town, Africa, potentially connected to either a small tsunami or some type of severe flooding event for Cape Town, Africa, and that whole Cape down there, that whole bottom corner of Africa. Spirit also showed me Africa and part of Africa breaking apart, like a breaking apart of the earth is what I saw, which was really interesting. And continents like Africa and other continents are going to see a splitting apart of it. I had a vision of an already existing crack in the earth. I don't know where, probably Africa, but I see that stretching apart. So again, another quake that pulls it apart even further, likely Africa. But then another one's going to smash and snap together. So while we have one crack in the earth totally, getting bigger, we're going to see another crack in the earth smash together. I don't know if they're related. They probably are, but something to keep in mind. Weather will affect the holiday travel here in the United States and bring about several cancellations of big parades, not just in the United States, but also a large system that's going to batter the north with ice, snow, and high winds, massive power outages with it. This comes in between Washington State and Vancouver, Canada. 3 feet of snow in some parts, maybe even more than that, of the north. Appears to me that this storm or multiple storms are heading towards Ontario. That seems to be the direction of my vision. There will be a sudden rise of Earth activity in Yellowstone Park. Yellowstone Park, some is going to be quite concerning. Like something's happening there and it becomes this big concern. But Spirit told me to tell y'all no need to worry at the moment. At the moment. They didn't say nothing about later, but at the moment, nothing to worry about when they say try to put concern or fear out about that, especially if you live near there. I see parts of the park being blocked off and closed. And I see separately a closing of the park several times this coming winter season due to weather. One event will wash away roads and bridges within Yellowstone. I'm thinking that might be more like spring. I'm not sure. It could be coming up now this year. We're getting close to 2023, so soon I'll be, probably already have been picking up on predictions for 2023. The winter is going to be the harshest winter in a very long time in most places on Mother Earth. Spirit showed me that China will be hit very hard with, as will Russia, when it comes to winter weather. I see both having issues with power outages on a scale that they are not used to. One power grid in Russia goes dark for weeks. Feels like a hack to me. And this will be repeated soon after in both Germany and UK. So what are we going to have, a power grid war happening? It's almost what it sounds like and feels like, huh? I had visions of cars stranded on the roads in several countries, but mainly China and also Japan. This was from major winter weather storms. But another thing I didn't put in there, I don't think I did. Let me finish it. Spirit showing me how intense the winter will bring. In turn, this will bring unbelievable low temperatures that again cause people to become desperate for heat and warmth. So going back to people stranded on the roads, I saw a point of people even likely perishing and rescues taking place to get people out of their cars on this road because of this storm. That's felt more like China and Japan to me. So our friends in Japan, please be safe and well. I don't know if we have friends in China. They probably block all this stuff from China. They probably don't even have YouTube there. I doubt it, but I don't know. Is my hat on right? Yeah, of course it is. Okay. I had visions, of cars stranded, said that. So unfortunately, this winter, we're going to see more house and building fires than ever before, and this is all connected to the weather. This will ignite some type of arson created fires as well. So some crazy arsonist sicko is going to see, fire heater fighters and all this happening and then start doing arson. Probably in a city, for example, like a city like New York. This is going to ignite this arson-created fires. It will be a repeat of last season when we saw all those food plants burning down. Remember all the food plants that were burned down? I did videos on it. Remember, I did 2 videos on it. The Great Famine and Games of Hunger. And now we're seeing that happen with refineries, or we're going to anyway. An attack on our food, an attack on our food plants being burned to the ground, except now we're going to not just see food plants and a reigniting of them attacking food plants and food distribution centers. It will also include refineries, natural gas production causing explosions, and many gas explosions in big cities and suburbs. Again, from people trying to keep warm. You know, it's all about people trying to keep warm. So please, my beautiful friends, be very, very, very safe. You know, if you had a few cocktails and you got some kind of kerosene heater going that you don't leave running when you're asleep, or, you know, turn it off before you go fall asleep or have all those cocktails. I want you all to be safe and warm at the same time. But so Spirit showed me the attack happening on the food and all that is transferring over to gas and fuel. And we're going to see that happening, which we are already. But Spirit brought it up again today, so I had to put it out to y'all again today. There's also going to be 3 separate high-rise building fires. Of course, they are going to blame it on space heaters, which will actually be a lie in at least 1 or 2 cases, according to Spirit. One building is going to be set ablaze by the owner for insurance fraud, but he will be caught and face a very long jail term sentence. I believe somebody perishes in that fire, and that makes it even worse that they try him for murder. Did you see that Trudeau idiot? The Spirit say he wasn't going to be there long, but he's still there, so I don't know what Spirit's talking about, y'all. But, like, I know, don't put it in the comments. When's Trudeau going to go? If somebody says it every week in the comments. But Canada's Trudeau deleted a tweet that falsely claimed Iran has sentenced 15,000 protesters to death. He's such an idiot. They all are, really. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau deleted a tweet containing false information on mass death sentences in Iran after a viral campaign on social media circulated this fake news. You know, you think a leader like that would know better. Of course they know better. They're part of that fake news program. That's what they do. I told you they want to cause war with Iran. They want to take over their reserves, their oil. And that's not going to happen. They could try, but it's not going to happen. Spirit showed me a vision too today, and I didn't put it in my notes. I forgot. I get so much information. Too much goes on in this brain of mine and in these visions from my third eye that Iran was working, or was it Russia, working with Turkish troops. And I've said something like this in the past where they're building an army, a dark, evil army. And I know it's in one of the old prophecies. I can't remember one of the saints that did prophecies talks about that happening along the Euphrates River. And Spirit made me feel today that this is happening. There's this whole thing forming together that includes Iran and Turkey. As soon as I talk about Turkey, I see Turkish military taking, you know, like on the run, basically, not on the run, but on the move. I see Turkish military planes taking off like a bat out of hell. That's a good song, Meatloaf. Shame he died. I saw him in concert. He was amazing. So celebrities and users shared a picture on Instagram showing a woman holding an Iranian flag with the caption, Iran, sentences 15,000 protesters to death. And it was all a lie. Of course it was. Just thought I'd bring that up to you all today. Yes, precious, I'll be done in a few minutes. I am on what page am I on here? I'm on page 14 of 15, so I'm close, girl. Did you see that, speaking of Iran, the Iranian crowds, this was over a week ago, I meant to say it last week, screaming out in their protest, revenge to the United States. Revenge to the United States. Like I told you, they're trying to, and I don't even know if that's real. That could be FAKE too. Fake and bake. Oh, it's wake and bake, but fake and bake. Bake and fake. Yeah, revenge to the United States. But really, their revenge, they're more concerned about Israel than they are United States. So that makes me feel like that is fake and bake news. While hundreds of some very bad, evil people cross over our borders illegally here in the United States. And of course, there are some good hearted people crossing over those borders as well. But Spirit showed me something very disturbing today, and visions that disturbed me of very bad people coming across the borders into the United States. And these very bad people are gathering together, grouping together, almost like a small army. It really disturbed me, and I didn't get complete details on it, but it was pretty friggin' disturbing. Spirit shows me that this is all a big lie from, again, the fake and bake news, the mass media, and mainly the government. Oh, I don't know where that came from. Sorry. I forgot to skip a space there. So yeah, it's all this whole Spirit was showing me this whole, crossing the borders in the United States is an orchestrated event, and it's orchestrated by a combination of the United Nations and United States evildoers that are purposely doing this and bringing over these evil people. They're forming some kind of probably a cartel army for here in the United States. A cartel would love to infiltrate our country. And I said that in predictions about Texas and war and on the borders of Texas. That hasn't happened, and I hope it don't happen, but this would make sense to the information I got today, and Spirit showing me that the UN and US have orchestrated this. It's an orchestrated plan. They provide the vehicles, they're providing everything, which we know. Speaking of wars and controversies and everything else that's happening in the world. Wait, what happened here? Oh, shit. I just deleted it by accident. Excuse me. Excuse my wording. There it goes. Oh, I was trying to click on this article here. So, speaking of protests, controversy, and everything else, and that alien dude, Elon Musk. Did you know that Elon Musk or SpaceX? And let me actually rewind for a second. I said for the longest time, not only is that man an alien from another planet, he is not one of the good ones. And people swear that Elon Musk is for the good of all and he's a white hat wearer. I beg to differ. I said it all along. Think about this. A man that goes out there and says the biggest threat to humanity is artificial intelligence, but him and his companies are the number one at doing artificial intelligence. How do you see good in that? How do you think that's good when he goes out there and says one thing but does the opposite? He's not a good man. Remember what I told you about the web of darkness being created over the planet Earth? Now we see that web of darkness. I said that years ago after I went to Peru and ayahuasca showed me the web of darkness. And I thought it was more of a metaphoric web of darkness until I saw the grid for those SpaceX satellites. It looks like a big black spider web, the web of darkness. This is what makes it even worse. Musk or SpaceX just made an agreement and came together with Google. That's not good. I told you that there was an evil, dark agenda behind that whole SpaceX, and now Google's involved. And we know Google is the eyes of the evil. The two G's is the eyes of the evil ones, watching everything we do. That's what double O is. A tweet about Elon Musk making Twitter worthless and deemed hate conduct is now a copy and paste protest on Twitter. It hasn't even been a month since Elon Musk completed his purchase of Twitter. His short tenure has been plagued by chaos, mass layoffs, and epic impersonations. Musk himself has become the subject of much mockery since he took over his favorite platform. Now, a campaign is underway to troll Musk via copy-paste, especially by copying the text of a tweet that was purposely flagged for violating Twitter's policies against hateful conduct. That tweet mocked Musk. Is this the tweet? I didn't even read the tweet. What is it? Violating our rules against hateful conduct. Buying Twitter for $44 billion to make it worthless in the span of 2 weeks is the closest Elon Musk will get to donating money. So I guess that's the tweet. And the thing says, you may not promote violence against, threaten, harass people on the basis of race, ethnicity, national origin, sexual orientation, blah, 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 BS. I just thought that was an interesting article that I just happened to come across today. I didn't know nothing about that. I rarely use social media when I don't have to. Did you see that new VR, virtual reality, that actually kills you? I'm not kidding you, man. I kid you not, my friends. Virtual reality headset that if you die in the game, you die in real life. Became a big controversy, and now they're saying, oh, it's just art for your office. Oh, crap. I just thought, see, I told you that whole metaverse and that whole virtual reality, they want you stuck in a seat 24/7, relying on them being their slaves. They're being the evildoers. The last thing that I thought was really interesting, that I heard that in the one particular political party in the United States is planning and wanting to spend $1 billion in the next election. That is sickening. What we can do to help people, homeless people, veterans, and all that with that money. But no, it's all about putting on a big Hollywood show, a big Hollywood production. So yeah, they need that $1 billion to put on their little election, theater show. It's all just a theater show. This is all just the Matrix, my friends. And we live in this Matrix, and it's time for us to pull it apart. That web of darkness needs to be dismantled before it's put together, but it's already together. So much more happening in the world, so much more to come, so much more information to bring to you. I thank you so much for the love and support. And I got some mail to share. I got some brownies here. I pulled out my back and it hurts so damn bad. Look at this beautiful card. I love this card. It's like one of those puffy cards, right? And this comes from the Greek gals who are out in Chicago. Alini, I hope I said that right. I probably butchered it. Patty and Alina, two Greek girls from Chicago. They sent me the coolest. I had so much fun opening up that box. So much fun. I mean, everything Greek you can think of. Olives, olive oil, balsamic vinaigrette, these cool herbs. Look at these cool packaged herbs here. These are pretty good. We got mountain sage and oregano, two different Greek teas, which I have not tried yet, but I will. My favorite is the little snacks and the treats and the roll of cookies. And my Lord, it just goes on and on. And what did Patty and Alina say? We are sending you lots of Greek love. Hope you enjoy all of the Greek items. Those olives. Oh my God, I love olives, black olives. They were so good, girls. Items from Greece. We love you. We look forward to every Tuesday with you. Thank you so much. Spread the love. Thank you, Patty and Alina. I am so grateful. And I got this too, and I didn't read it because there's a card in it that's like literally, it's a 4-page letter. I haven't had time to read it yet. I will read it, though. Of course I'll read it. I read everything. And there was a sweet donation in here, but I cannot read this on air. It'll take me another hour. I mean, look, there's so much there to read, not including the extra 3 pages that go with it. And I forgot. Now I got to open up the 3 pages to tell you. There was a very generous donation in there, for starters. And I got, look how long this letter is. My Lord. I hope I can read it, because sometimes some of y'all send me letters and I can't read the handwriting. Another thing, if you're sending me something, make sure that you clearly print your return address. Just because I can't say thank you if I don't have someone to thank. Warmest wishes. This is from Pauline. Pauline? It's not Pauline, is it? Paulani. But not only did she send a nice generous donation, I love these 2 things here. A great card, but I think 2 people sent me the same card, actually. Same card. 2 separate people sent me that card, which is really funny. Archangel Michael, who is like my boyfriend. You can't, nobody can have him. He's all mine. We're getting married. Totally get married. What's this? I didn't even notice this before. But I had a miraculous medal of my mother's, of Mary, miraculous medal of Mary, and lost it and have been devastated ever since. She sent me this beautiful miraculous medal, which I will bless in ceremony and put around my neck. I think there's another card, something else that somebody sent me these beautiful candles, 2 of them. This one and a pumpkin one. They smell amazing, but I can't find the card. I don't know what card it is, and I don't think that's you here. No, I don't remember. I'll find it and I'll tell you next week. I had the pumpkin candle in my living room sitting there to remind me to light it when we're done here today. But anyway, you know, when people give you a hard time, call you a conspiracy theorist and a tinfoil hat wearer, you tell them that our tinfoil hats are way better than their damn blindfolds. Remember, as I always tell you, to please be kind to others as you wish others be kind to you, because we all know mean people suck. Until next time, I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Celebrate life and celebrate you. Spearman JT signing off for this episode of Tittle Tuesdays. Until next week and in between, much love. Namaste. Have a great, amazing day. Much love.